I'm Carrie Began. This is my first vlog. I work with teachers. I'm an instructional coach and do professional learning with teachers. And a couple of teachers that I have worked with recently have asked me if I've ever done any vlogging or if I wanted to. And so I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a whirl. And so this is my first one. For those of you that watch a lot of YouTube videos or watch vlogs quite a bit, please excuse any editing or just cringe-worthy moments because I'm new at this. And so I'm going to be learning as I go, modeling the idea of learning something new to keep me young. And so the goal of these vlogs is, number one, keep it short and simple. So I'm going to just take one instructional strategy at a time and talk about what it is, how you might be able to use it, give you a couple of examples, and then hope that you use it and share with others, and even under this video in comments to so that we can all learn from each other. So here we go. The first strategy that I want to talk about is one that I call, for lack of a better name, here's the answer, what are the questions? It's, I guess, kind of, we've all used this strategy before. It's not new. It's not mind-blowing by any means, but it's a great strategy because it's quick. It gets kids thinking in like the opposite way that we typically do, in that we ask them a question, we expect an answer. We're going to turn the tables a little bit on them and expect that they give us a little bit more in return. Also, you'll note that I said, what are the questions, and not just singular, because we need to be generating more questions. Not just us as teacher, because we've been working on that for a while and I think we're pretty good at that. We need our students to really work on their own questioning and how to deepen their thought process through that. This strategy can be used pretty much anytime during the instructional cycle. You could use it at the beginning to introduce something and to get the juices flowing. You could use it in the middle just to deepen the thought and the conversation around content. And you could use it at the end. Actually, it's a great assessment tool. Just even like a quick ticket out the door, things like that. That would really give you a lot of information about what students have picked up. So, quick and simple. Give a piece of content. In math, it's really quite easy to do, you know, with a number or an equation, and then work backward from there. I'm going to give you a couple of examples right now. Just show you, you know, kind of what we've done. You can use it with a couple of different strategies together. I like to use it with small groups of students so that they start to collaborate and have conversation around it. But you could also, it could be a large group, especially to get something like this started, to introduce it and to kind of model how kids should talk through it. And then also it can be done individually to, you know, really see what each student understands. All right, so here is an example, and this is just a piece of computer paper, but I would probably use it on a piece of chart paper, and then you know, several kids can get around it and use markers and really kind of brainstorm some different questions. But this is, you know, pretty straightforward. So, you know, what are some questions that you could come up with that would have an answer of 54? You could see how this could get more complicated, you know, depending on where students are with their understanding of mathematics, or, you know, if you're looking at algebra versus geometry. So there's a math example, which is pretty, you know, it's pretty standard, and I think maybe one of the easier ways to use this strategy. Let's go a little bit deeper here. Something like democracy. There's a lot of questions I can ask about democracy. I can, you know, you could go the obvious, like just flip the definition around, but you can also ask some pretty deep questions that would lend itself to democracy as an answer. and asking students to generate different types of questions too. You know, we could do the what and the when questions, but can we come up with some how questions around this, or why questions? So in science, you know, we can work with definitions this way. And you think about a definition that it really only has one answer, but there's several questions that we could ask here with photosynthesis. We can talk about the formula. We can talk about what type of cells it happens in. We can talk about why it happens. It's, you know, like what's the purpose of it. So there are a couple of different things you can do here. All right, so as you can see, it's got a lot of different possibilities. I also want to mention, you know, with that, we had said you could do small group, you can do individual children, you could do a large group, direct instruction with something like that. But also think about adding in other strategies like a chalk talk with it. So students can be sitting around a piece of chart paper, or if you want to use iPads with like a drawing app, that would work as well. But having students do something like a chalk talk, they would each take turns around the piece of paper writing their questions. And then with that, they have to wait and watch what each person does in their group, and they can't repeat a question. So they have to really pay attention, and they have to be, every time a question has been asked, they know they have to come up with something else. That could get really challenging. And you could have, you know, groups competing against each other. How many questions can you come up with? How many different types of questions can you come up with? Did this group just come up with all what and when questions? Did this group, were they able to come up with some how and why? And this really offers you the opportunity to have discussion with your students about different types of questions, thick and thin questions, open and closed questions. So we're really, you know, kind of hitting two birds with one stone, if you will, in this strategy. So I hope you like it. I hope that you can use it sometime soon coming up if you haven't already. If you have already used it, please let us know below the video here how you used it. Share examples with us so that we can all learn together as a community of educators. It helps us, it helps our students. And look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.